All right, welcome everybody. Happy Friday. So glad you're here for this week's Coffee with the Principal. So glad you're here taking the time to join us. Believe it or not, we only have two more of these. We've got today and then we've got next week, and then we won't do one the last Friday of the year. All right, so we'll get right to it. Let me find, here we go. All right, just as a reminder, you've joined the meeting muted. Feel free to use the chat box as needed. We are recording this meeting, and we do that so that we can share with families who have told us that they watch these, but they aren't able to join live. So we want to make this available for those families as well. We'll have time for Q&A at the end. All right, so one of the things that it's really important that I wanted to start with is this. This was a really, really hard week in this nation and in schools across the country due to the horrible tragedy that happened in Texas on Tuesday. And as you know, this is something that unfortunately seems to continue to occur. One of the things I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this morning with you all is some of the updated safety protocols that LAUSD as a whole is launching just this week as they are responding to the events of Texas. I think my hand is raised. I don't know how my hand is raised. I don't know. I'm raising my own hand here. I don't know. All right. So I want to just share with you some of the updates that are starting this week, district-wide, and that's going to look a little bit different in every single school, but I did want to make sure we spend some time on that. So one of the things is that the district is launching is the district is going to be conducting an access assessment to ensure reduced points of entry at school sites. So one of the things that's true at lots of schools is that there are lots of different entrances onto campus. We are very fortunate here at Katherine Johnson in that there is only one, the gate by off of Park Hill Drive. But we do share a campus with a larger school, Westchester Enriched Sciences High School, and there are multiple ways of entry onto campus. So one of the things that LAUSD is going to send a team to conduct an access assessment to ensure that there are reduced points of entry. One of the things to know here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy is that this is pretty limited already. We just have the one exit right there. The only ways that our school connects with Westchester High School is through there is a crash bar gate right here by the football field. When families or when we do a fire drill, they can just crash bar straight out that way. Additionally, there's another gate that remains locked between the bungalows, and then there's a third gate back towards the student parking lot on the backside that remains locked during the day. So we feel pretty good about the reduced points of entry here at Katherine Johnson STEM already, but please know that LAUSD is going to be evaluating all their campuses as we move forward. One of the things that LAUSD is going to do is they're going to explore safe corner designations, which means, again, when they do the site analysis of the physical layout of sites, figuring out where on the campus the most secure location is, the most protected areas of the school, and identifying that so that all staff members and all students, all families know where that safe location is. Number 3, LAUSD is going to be exploring the use of mobile apps with GPS capabilities to enable first responders effective access. And we know that one of the most important things with any sort of safety issue is that first responders have quick access, first responders have accurate access, and first responders aren't tied up with traffic or tied up with trying to find anything that's where things are in the school. And so LAUSD is exploring the use of mobile apps with GPS to enable those first responders to make their way to provide their services as quickly as possible. That's any sort of safety incident that may occur. So one of the things that's really important is that safe responders do have quick and unencumbered access. Couple more. One is LAUSD is pledged to widen collaboration with local first responders for prevention. So one of the things that is the most important thing is that there's prevention with, when we talk about safety, it is about, you know, responding appropriately, but the most important thing is preventing it, and so that there are issues don't happen in the first place. And so LAUSD is committed to widening their collaboration with local first responders to have greater safety in terms of prevention. And then lastly, and this is an important thing, and let me back up and say, I don't want to say lastly, these are just some of the things that LAUSD is committed to. There will likely be more, but this is one of the things that we wanted to share this week. Lastly on this list is LAUSD is committed to evaluating and refining systems to provide enhanced mental health supports for kiddos, for staff members, for focusing on prevention, focusing on early identification. One of the things that they've talked about is exploring reducing the counselor to student ratio. I'm sorry, the student to counselor ratio at schools, so that we can provide really good services to students. One of the things that's kind of nice at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy is we're small already. So we have, you know, I think the district ratio is like, I don't want to get misquoted here, but it's like 300 or 400 to 1 students per counselor. Luckily, we have a full-time counselor, Ms. Guith, who does an amazing job supporting our kids. One other thing that I'll share with families, and if you're on our school site council committee, you already know this, is this year we've had Miss Tracy, who's our PSW, our psychiatric social worker. She has been here 3 days per week this year. We are very excited because next year our PSW will be here 5 days per week. So our school site council budgeted way back in March to expand our PSW to have essentially a full-time PSW here on campus, not just 3 days a week, but full 5 days a week. So these are just some of the things that LAUSD is doing as we, you know, always are reevaluating our safety and our security protocols. And these are things that are going to happen at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy as well. I'm also working with my main office staff, and we may be adjusting some things that may make it slightly more inconvenient to come on campus. And I apologize for that in advance, but, you know, ultimately everything is about the safety and security of our students. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get some questions about that when we get to question and answer time. There's still a lot, you know, unknown, but we do want to make sure that we are providing the safest environment for all of our kiddos. All right, shifting gears to some very, very happy things. One of the things I wanted to share with you that is going on and happening this week is this picture that I took from Ms. Jones on Tuesday. And I want to explain to you why she's so happy. It's not because the headline says Venice does away with indoor mask mandate. This is the Venice High School newspaper, but because we wanted to shout out the fact that one of our students here at Katherine Johnson STEM Academy, an alum of Katherine Johnson STEM Academy, her name is Zoe Woodrick, is now attending Venice High School, and she is the editor. She is the editor of the school newspaper as a freshman, and is doing a fantastic job. So we always want to shout out our alum of Katherine Johnson STEM Academy who go on to do you know, great things in their high schools that they go to. I want to give a shout out to Ms. Casimir, Ms. Alejandre, many of the teachers who came out last Saturday for our Black Student Achievement Plan Family Day. This is a picture of just some of the folks. We enjoyed a great time together, had some great food, had some games. I learned that I am no good at Jenga. And, you know, I think I got beaten by a second grader. So, but that's okay. Growth mindset. I will practice and I will get better. All right. Moving forward, there's just a couple of things. Mostly these are repeats, but they're good reminders. One is today is the day we celebrate Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. So as you were dropping off your kiddos this morning, maybe you saw some of them wearing different attire, and so the theme of today is free dress that reflects Asian American and Pacific Islander influence. Also, after lunch today, we'll have a celebration with some music and some activities out in our front lawn for our students. Our students are dismissed at the normal 2:17 time today. All right, we have wrapped up our first 2 weeks of state testing, and if you have a 6th grader or a 7th grader, they should be done. There's only a handful of kiddos who are in 6th and 7th grade who we have to pull next week and do some makeups, but we are proud of the way that Ms. Dunklin was able to coordinate this, and the kids took their time, they showed their work. We had a little tracking sheet of kids who are taking their time, who are showing their work, and we're going to let kids slime Mr. Hunsberger. We bought some slime that we're going to make the slime mix that sometime during the last week of school kids will get to slime Mr. Hunsberger. I have no idea why I agreed to that, but that'll be fun. If you have an 8th grader, they will be taking the science California state test this coming week in their science class. So just know that that's happening if you have an 8th grader. All right. Just as a reminder, our virtual tour is now live on our website, so you can check that out whenever you have a chance. If you've got interested neighbors, colleagues, family members, just link to our website and you can take a virtual tour, meet the teachers, see the classrooms. It's very cool. Just as a reminder, I think I shared this once before. If you are the parent of a 7th or 8th grade girl, they've been participating in something called EmpowHer, which is a wonderful organization that comes every week and provides leadership activities and mentorship for our young ladies. We had some of our teams from the school win a competition a couple weeks ago when they went to a summit. But anyway, all of this is to say that EmpowHer is putting on a STEM social justice summer camp. It's 3 weeks long, 1 week at Catalina, 2 weeks at USC. It is very small in that the camp is actually only for 25 total students, period, across the whole program. And EmpowHer serves 13, 14 schools. And so I'm hoping that there will be a couple of our students who have the opportunity to participate in this. The application deadline is tomorrow. So if you have a 7th or 8th grade girl who might be interested in this, or you might be interested in it for them, make sure you click the link that I put in the chat and fill out that application by tomorrow. Just as a reminder for 7th grade families, specifically who are looking at independent schools, potentially for high school, the last information session for the Independent School Alliance is happening this coming Tuesday evening. And if you are interested in attending that session and learning more about the Independent School Alliance, there's a sign-up form on this screen, but it's also in the chat. One of the things that I forgot to mention last time when I mentioned this first time is a question we got is this: does the Independent School Alliance provide any tuition assistance for families who are part of their program? The answer is no. However, most of the independent schools that accept students from other places or from Independent School Alliance do have some forms of scholarships available that can range from a little bit to almost all of it. So it really depends on a case-by-case basis in terms of the school. So this is just the last info session. So if you're thinking about high school, especially 7th grade families, I'd encourage you to check that out. All right. Next, a week from today is our 7th and 8th grade formal. We're getting all dressed up, going down to the Center Point Club from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Center Point Club in Playa Vista. It's right next to the library. And we are super excited to honor our 7th graders and 8th graders. And like I said before, it was originally going to be an 8th grade event, but then we thought, you know what, this is a powerful way to kind of do like a transition, sort of like passing the torch from our 8th grade to our 7th graders who are going to become our 8th graders next year. So we encourage you to check that out, to have your child participate. You do need to be eligible for that. So if you have questions about that, you can reach out to Ms. Guth or Ms. Alejandre. Payment for that is due by next Wednesday, June 1st. So again, we encourage folks to participate in that. In a week and a half, on Wednesday, June 8th, we are excited to bring back Ms. Faye Mandell, who's our licensed clinical social worker, to our campus. She did a series of Zoom workshops on middle school parenting last a couple months ago, and it was great. She's coming in person on Wednesday, June 8th. And we're excited to have her here. She's going to be talking about personal safety, which is really important for the middle school age kiddos. They're at an age where more independence is appropriate for them, but we still want to do that in a safe way. So if you're coming to that, if you could help us by RSVPing at the link right there, bit.ly/KJSafety, that would give us a sense as to like how, you know, what we need to do to provide for the room or for the space. We'll have some snacks available as well. So we just want to make sure we're prepared for that. All right, I think this is the last announcement before we do COVID updates. Thank you so much to the families who have already signed up to be a parent panelist for our 8th grade presentations of student learning. All students this week are working on their presentations of learning, where they reflect on a piece of work that they're proud of, they analyze it, they reflect on what they've learned, and they put together a presentation. Our 6th and our 7th graders will take that presentation and do a screen record of them talking over that, explaining their presentation of learning. That will be shared with the teachers, and we'll share a showcase of that with families as well. So that will happen asynchronously. But our 8th graders will be presenting live on June 7th, Tuesday, and June 8th, Wednesday, during the day, right next door in our conference room. And they'll be presenting to a panel of some of their classmates, a couple teachers, a community member, and you, a parent. So thank you so much, families, for those of you who have signed up to do that. We still have some available slots. If you're a family member and you want to be a panelist, go ahead and add yourself to the list. It is not hard to do. It is really easy. All you basically have to do is show up, listen to the 8th graders give their presentations. When they're done, you on the panel will have a few minutes to ask some questions, give some feedback, and I have a question bank that I'll give you. So if you're not sure what questions to ask, we'll give you an opportunity to do that. All right, COVID updates. We're back down to like almost none. We currently have one active case among staff and students. That individual has been at home isolating. That individual has told me that individual is feeling asymptomatic, which is always a good thing. But we always continue with our precautions. Kids are testing every single week. They'll test today, they'll test next Friday, they'll test June 10th. So we always want to make sure that we do that. And that's it in terms of me for announcements. If you haven't done so, take a moment, leave us a rating on bit.ly/KGSA Great Schools. That'll take you right there, and you can leave public feedback. And yeah, that helps other like-minded families understand what are some of the ways that our current families see our school. So with that said, I will, there we go. I figured out how to lower my hand. I will pause for a moment and see what other questions folks might have today. So I'll pause for a moment, and feel free to put in the chat or raise your hand. All right, Ms. Franklin, go ahead.
More of a comment or a request for help in the mornings with drop off. Sometimes Mr. Medellin Medellin is very good at like kind of meeting me at the gate when I'm dropping off, and that's perfect. That's awesome. But sometimes when trying to get in, there are just a lot of kiddos that are hanging around that seem to have already checked in. But you have to kind of navigate your way through as a parent to try and get that check-in done in the morning. And it's not always that it's not necessarily a line of check-in, it's just kiddos hanging around,
Got it.
making it more difficult to kind of navigate that. So just a little help with that to make it a little easier, especially if you're not like a familiar face to one of the check-in people. They're not gonna, come out and make it easier for you like I sometimes get that advantage.
Got it. No, thank you so much for that feedback. That's super helpful, as we're always trying to figure out ways to make things more effective and more convenient for our kiddos and for our families. Thank you so much, Ms. Franklin. Any other questions or comments before we wrap things up today? One thing I forgot to mention, hopefully you already know it, is that there is no school on Monday. Monday is Memorial Day. All schools and offices are closed. So we will see all your students back on Tuesday. We'll be back on our regular schedule on Tuesday, starting the day with period 2. Any last questions? And again, I also appreciate the fact that people, when they do have questions, they also reach out to me during the week via email. Some of you have realized that if you send me a message on Class Dojo, I usually get back to it pretty quick because it buzzes my phone. So it's like texting the principal on Class Dojo. Thank you for doing that as well. All right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, I hope you all have an excellent 3-day weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday. And next Friday will be our last Coffee with the Principal for the year. Oh my goodness. Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much. Have a great weekend, and take it easy. Bye-bye.